Hello and welcome, my name is Carl and this is Just the Way It Is, and today is episode 10 in the series all about the R1250GS. Now what you can see below here, this is a Givi Monokey V47. So in the last episode, which was episode 9, I shared with you that I would talk about my decision-making process for a top box. Now we all have very different requirements for a top box, and I have 3 things that I absolutely must have, and that really kind of determines in which direction I go in terms of top boxes. So I'm fairly lucky. In our local bike club we've got quite a few GSs, and I was able to go and look at and try various different top boxes. The standard Vario one, the plastic one that you get as the base one from BMW, the Adventure series top box, the aluminium one, Touratech one, and there was another 2 I think that I tried, but they're all very, very similar in terms of their design. They're a square box which sits on top of the back of the bike. So as to the 3 requirements that I have, let me explain my decision-making process because it might help you. So the first one is passenger comfort and passenger security. The person that sits on the back of the bike has to feel secure. If you're going to ride 2 up, this is really, really important. So for me, being able to mount a cushion on the back of whatever top box I mount in a position that's comfortable so that the passenger can just lean back that little bit and feel safe and secure on the bike is really important. Now I learned this very early on with my Multistrada because the top boxes that are made for the Ducatis are also made by Givi, and they're actually quite good. You might think that they're quite flimsy and plasticky. They're actually pretty good, but there are 2 other requirements that I have. Now the next one might not apply to you, but for me, I find it really important with a top box. When I'm 2 up, I need to be able to put 2 full-size crash helmets in the top box out of the way. So what that means is when I head off and we go out for an afternoon ride and there's 2 of us on the bike, we can get off the bike, helmets off, gloves off, in the top box, finished. You haven't got to worry about carrying around helmets when you go into restaurants or bars, or you stop at a petrol station and you have a coffee. It's really not a good idea, and the amount of times I've scratched crash helmets over the years because I got nowhere to put it when I take it off. I just got really fed up with it. So the top box for me has to have enough space for 2 full-size helmets. Now that sort of rules out all of the metal top boxes. Some of them you can just about get 1 helmet in, but you definitely can't get 2 helmets on top. The box would just be absolutely ginormous. So that means the type of top box I've got to go for is not a very tall one, but a wide one, which is what this V47 does. Now on the Multistrada, I'll put a picture up, that's a 48 litre top box, and I knew that it would take 2 full-size, size L helmets. So after quite a bit of research, I found that it looked like the 47 litre Monokey would also do the same job. So I ordered one up and tried it, and I was very pleased that I can get the same 2 full-size helmets inside the top box. Now there was one other thing that I have as a requirement, and that is the rack mounting system, because not always, for me, do I want to take a top box. There are occasions that I find that I need to travel quite a lot of distance very quickly. I'm not interested in touring, I'm not sightseeing. I need to go, for example, from here in Germany back to the UK, and I need to get back quickly. And what I want to do, I want a secure mounting system or a secure rack that I can strap a waterproof 30 or 35 litre waterproof bag in line with the bike. That causes the least amount of turbulence. It's the most secure as far as I'm concerned, and I haven't got a top box on the back that I have to worry about with motorway speeds. So it's important that whatever I buy has a good rack system so that I can strap on a 35 litre bag, waterproof roll, for when I need to do big distances really quick. So they're sort of my 3 main requirements. So after a lot of research, I did find that the standard Givi recommend a completely different mounting mechanism, and it's quite an ugly ABS plastic one. I'll put some pictures up, and I'll also put part numbers of both of these parts and the kits. so you know what you need to buy if this is something that you want to try, and so that you can have a look. But the standard one is like a black ABS, and it looks absolutely ugly. And apart from that, there's no real, it sits up quite high, and what it doesn't allow me to do is strap things to this rack. Now, I'd almost given up looking, and then I stumbled across this. This is not a common thing that you can find, but this is actually, and I'll put the part number up. Givi do this in two colours. They do it in this aluminium one, and they do it in quite a nice brushed black finish. The sticker's mine, by the way, that didn't come with that on there. So you've got two options. The black one probably would look really nice on a triple black. So in terms of fitting, I think it's going to be really easy. There's one mounting plate which you're going to modify the back with. It comes with a bag of screws. I'm not going to show you how to fit it because it really is fairly straightforward, and you'll probably have more fun achieving something like this yourself. So I'm going to mount the rack. So I think, all being well, this is going to give me the solutions that I want. It's giving me space on the back to fit a 35-litre roll bag. The top box will mount, it's not too high. You can't see it yet, but it actually has a backrest, which is an optional extra. I'll put pictures and part numbers up, and I can't remember the price, but by the time I edit video, I will put the prices up. So it's got a cushion on the back. So that's the top box solution sorted for me. One more thing. Also, in addition on this trip, because I'm going by myself, I wanted to have a saddle bag. So I've decided to give this a try. No, it's not been sent for free. No, they're not sponsoring me, and I bought it with my own money. This is a 23-litre tunnel bag. And again, I'll put part numbers up and prices. And this is just to give me the extra bit of space. Now, you might be surprised to hear, but I'm not going on tour with side boxes or side bags. I pack very economically, and I really don't need an awful lot on tour. So with 47 litres of the top box and 23 with this saddle bag, I think I've got enough space. I'm going to do a dummy pack tonight. I think I've got enough space, including my tank bag, to get everything that I need for the tour. I have done a quick fit on this. It mounts really easily. There are some straps that go underneath the seats and around the bottom here, and I'll show you all that once I've finished, but I just thought I'd introduce you to the parts before I fit them to the bike. So let's move on to the next part. So here we are. 2 weeks later, I've just got back from Norway, and if I look tired, that's because I am pretty tired. We got back late last night, and it was a long old day yesterday. So now's a good time to tell you what I thought of these two products. So first off, the top box. Well, I actually almost made a mistake first thing on the morning when we left. And that was earlier in the video, which I shot before I left for Norway. I mounted this backrest, and this was on here for my wife to give her some comfort on the bike. But I ended up having to remove it because once the top box opens completely, if you're using something like this, which is the tunnel bag, it actually doesn't allow the lid to fully open, and you end up having to hold the lid open while you access the contents of your top box. So I had to very quickly, 20 minutes before we left, take that off and then come up with some sort of waterproof solution to stop the water, of which we had an awful lot, getting into the top box. So these two products, what do I think? Well, the top box has been brilliant. We've had sunshine, mud, gravel, sleet, and an awful lot of rain, all the seasons combined during this last 2 and a bit weeks. We've covered about 3,500 kilometers, and as you can see from the state of my bike, it is filthy, and I'm going to be cleaning the bike this afternoon. But the top box actually works really, really well. There's been no water ingress in there. It's performed that function very well. And bear in mind, the top box has had to come on and off every single day. It's really easy to use, and I'll do you a close-up video of removing the top box and how you do that in just a moment. But the top box has been fine. The other thing that I found really good from this particular one is the grab handle. Now, bear in mind, you have to take it on and off every day, and you've got quite a lot of weight in there. I only went with the top box and this tunnel bag with all of my gear. I pack actually quite light when I go on tour. I didn't have any side panniers on this particular tour. The importance of the size, I've got quite big hands, and getting your hands underneath that lip when you're carrying your top box, which is pretty full and heavy when everything's inside it, it's been really nice and easy to use. So I've enjoyed that too. So as to accessing your top box, again, it's very simple. With the key in the horizontal position, you're going to use the black button. One press and you can gain access to your top box. And the top box will lean forward so that you can get in and get to all your equipment. In terms of waterproofness, it's been totally fine. We had several days where it rained from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and absolutely no water got inside. So that's been very good. The only thing that I would comment on, and I don't know why they've done it, it is possible theoretically to shut your top box with the key in it, which I think is a bit of a silly idea. So if we have a look, if I take the key out here, it's still then possible to lock the top box, and you may have accidentally placed your key in there while you were taking something out. So I think that's a bit of a silly idea, and that's why I took both keys with me. I kept one key as a backup in my tank bag, and the other one stayed with me in my jacket, just in case I was silly and I left the key inside there. But other than that, I think that's the only thing that I would criticise in terms of use, access, on and off. It really has been straightforward, simple and easy to use. So that gets a very big plus from me, and in particular that I can have two full face helmets in the bag, in the top box, has been a big benefit. So in terms of its performance, it's done very well. On the motorways, we had quite a good speed on the motorways, and it doesn't create any unusual weaving or moving around, even at quite high speeds, over 100 miles per hour. So in that regard, the top box has worked fine. Have I had any problems? No, it's been brilliant. It's done everything I expected it to do. So the tunnel bag, how was the tunnel bag? The tunnel bag actually did a very good job. Bear in mind, this is only 23 litres. Inside this bag, I had a pair of trainers, pair of jeans, quite a thick, heavy leather belt, 2 t-shirts, a shirt, wash bag, electric shaver, bar of chocolate, my pipe, a change of underwear, charging cables for the camera and for the phone, everything you would need for when you get to a destination late at night to just unclip it into the accommodation. You've got everything you need to get comfortable and changed and showered quickly, and then if you need to swap clothes around, I can then go and get the top box later on. So actually only 23 litres, it did a really good job. Has there been any problems? Well, one thing, and that is the mounting system. I'll show you properly in a moment. This rubber base is brilliant. You don't have to have these clips really tight to hold it really firm to the bike, because this is a kind of rubberized, and if you can just see that, it's a bit of a curved base. It's the shape of the saddle, and it actually holds really, really well. Even with some enthusiastic riding in the mountains, it doesn't move around. But the only problem I've had, and that's the rain cover, and I'm going to have to speak to the supplier in the next couple of days. The rain cover works fine. We had a lot of rain, especially over 2 days. It rained constantly from when we left in the morning to when we arrived in the evening. It does a great job of keeping everything dry, but I don't know whether you can see, which I'll unclip, the rain bag itself has torn, and in fact it's falling apart even now, as broken. It still holds on to the tunnel bag itself. It performs its function very well, but it's broken. So I need to speak to the supplier and see if they'll send me another one for free as a replacement. But apart from that, the tunnel bag's done a really good job. You've got a transparent pocket on the top, which I kept for keeping receipts, and it worked really well. It's got a nice thick handy grab handle, and bearing in mind the amount of gear I had in this, it's very easy and very secure to move this off of the bike into your accommodation. Now, in terms of the mounting, again, I'll do some close-ups in a second. So before I show you how I mounted the tunnel bag, a quick mention about these cheap bags that came from China. They've actually been really, really good. I'm very surprised for the price we paid for them. Go back and have a look at the accessory list. These have worked out very, very well. You can actually get quite a lot of gear in there. The zip works really well, wet or dirty, and I managed to get quite a lot of stuff between both sides in terms of waterproofs on the left side, and on this side I had quite a bit of camera gear wrapped in plastic bags, and it did a very, very good job. Although you can't see it in this video, these are very reflective. They've got a reflective material on them which helps visibility from the side of the bike. But let me remove them so that you can see exactly how I mounted this Givi tunnel bag. Originally I thought that I'd have to have these straps going underneath the seat, and then that would cause problems with mounting and dismounting. But what I actually found was these Vario mounting points, the cable or the strap will slip easily through the mount on each side, and then you can take these clips off, feed it through on one side, down through here, up through here, and then they just clip in, and they're actually very easy to mount. So to remove the bag, you've just got 2 clips on each side, and the bag comes off very simply. Also bear in mind, because you've got this rubberized base, it's very soft and very grippy, and it does not move around on the seat. So you don't need to have these really tight. They aren't really there for strength, they're only plastic, and I would imagine that if you put a lot of pressure on them, they could possibly break. But with the tunnel bag on the seat, it is really easy to mount. You've just got your 2 clips each side, like so, and it is not going to move around. So I've been very pleased. So apart from the tearing of the waterproof cover, I would give this 9 out of 10 in terms of product design. There's a bit of space inside here. I kept change of earplugs every couple of days, and there's quite a bit of room inside to carry mobile phones and chargers if you want to keep that sort of thing in your tunnel bag. But overall, I've been very pleased with this product. So as to the mounting plate, I've been very impressed with this. It's made from, I think it's 6mm aluminium. It's very strong. It's not very heavy. I've had no problems with it whatsoever. I think in terms of optics, it looks very good and blends in with the rest of the theme of the GS. The mounting points are very secure, and you also have these very slightly rubberized points on which that top box clips, so there's no rattling and no vibration, and I've been very pleased with it. You've also got, as you can probably see, lots of points to put bungees and straps, which is really important if, like me, one of your other options of traveling quick and fast is to mount a 25 or a 30 litre bag in line with the rest of the bike. You need a place to strap and hold that bag on, and along with the grab handles, I find that works really well. The other thing is the clips or the cables, should I call them the straps, that come from the clips that hold on that tunnel bag are quite long, and at first I thought I would cut them off, but actually they worked out really well being long, because I was able to tie a knot between the 2 sides and then just tuck this out of the way. It doesn't flap around in the wind once the top box on there, and it just holds those 2 rear clips very firmly. So in terms of these 2 products, I've been very pleased. They've done 3,500 kilometers in 2 weeks. I've had no problems apart from the rain cover beginning to split, but other than that, they performed very well. So what's coming up next? So in the next 2 or 3 episodes, there's several things I want to cover. The first of is the tyres. These are the Michelin Monokey Adventure tyres, and from day one I wanted to replace them, because as a sports bike rider, they're not really my sort of tyre, but I've kept going for the sake of trying to find out what they're really like and to do a proper test. And I really wanted to change them before I left for Norway, but in the end I decided to leave them on, do the whole cycle, and probably even wear them completely out this summer, and then do a review. But we're 5,500 kilometers in with the GS, so I'm in a good place to tell you what I think about these tyres, and they're actually a bit surprising, so that's coming up soon. The next thing is I need to complete the brake part. We did that back in one of the earlier episodes. I'll put a link up when we changed from the Hayes calipers on the front to the Brembo calipers. That was done by BMW under warranty, and I need to tell you what they've been like, because there's quite a bit of difference actually. The more I've got used to them, it probably is, if you've got the money and you're a bit of a quicker rider, it probably is worth the conversion to go from Hayes to Brembo. So I'm going to cover that in another video. And of course, Norway itself. Thank you very much to those of you, the subscribers, that have left comments wishing me a nice trip. It was fantastic. We experienced all the different seasons during our 2 and a bit weeks. So I'm going to put up a couple of short videos. I know watching holiday videos on a motorbike can sometimes be very boring, so I've got some ideas to kind of keep it constant, keep it moving, and so I'll put some highlights up in a forthcoming 2 episodes. But I had a look this morning and I've actually got 659 gigabytes of data from the cameras and from my phone. So there's an awful lot for me to go through to put together a video that's watchable. So thank you very much. As always, my name is Carl. You've been watching Just the Way It Is, and I'll see you again soon for another episode. Thank you.